Let me start this video off by asking you guys a question. Is addiction a positive word or a negative word? In today's day and age, we are generally used to associating addiction with all the negative aspects of what we normally do. Now, when we think about addiction, the first thing that comes into our mind is an alcoholic, is a chain smoker, a sex addict, a workaholic too in today's day and age, and a drug addict. These are the common things that comes to our mind. But what if I told you that a person will have the same enthusiasm and the same passion that one has in doing all wrong things, but for the right cause? Now, you may think that I'm going to give you some ancient example which would not be relevant in modern times. But how about today for a change? I give you an example in 2020 itself. Now, this is an analogy of a man named Jadav Payeng. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing his name right, but he hails from Assam, India, and he has single-handedly built an entire forest. He is nicknamed as the Forest Man of India. He single-handedly built an entire forest. While there are many people sitting in their roundtable conferences and talking about how to improve the world's biodiversity, a single individual has managed to contribute to the biodiversity of the planet in a way beyond an individual's strength. So even that, in a way, is an addiction. But that is not an addiction in anything wrong, but that is an addiction in a way to contribute to the society as a whole. But this verse in the Bhagavad Gita seems to be having a contradictory statement to either of those things. Now let's analyze that in detail. Here Krishna says to Arjuna that pleasure and pain are two opposites which cause so much amount of grief and happiness to a person. Now let's take the human mind to be that of a dog bone. And pleasure and pain are the two dogs that are fighting for that bone and reach its maximum supremacy. Now that bone, our mind, is controlled by the force of habit. And habit is controlled by our ego consciousness. And the ego consciousness doesn't be aware of what the body needs. Rather, it is something that enjoys a pleasure and suffers for a pain. Now here in the first scenario of people who are an addict in terms of alcohol or smoking, all those kind of people are doing all the things that gives maximum destruction to oneself as a person. Now that is negative addiction. But in this case of this Assam forest man, all his addiction and all his energy and passion and enthusiasm is to make the society a better place than he found it. So here, when an addiction is done to satisfy oneself, it gives rise to either pleasure or pain. But when done to contribute to the society to make it a better place than found, then it is divine, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Because pleasure and pain do not stay forever. When there is pleasure, pain is not far away. And on the other hand, when there is pain, pleasure is not far away. So Krishna questions, why be happy when there is pleasure and why be sad when there is pain? And again he says the same thing that I've discussed in the previous verse. Sthita prajna, stable mind in pleasure and pain. And how do you do that? It will always lead the way. And all you have to do is free your mind. And while you do that, don't forget to hit this subscribe button right here so that you could join us in this wonderful journey, and click here to view our most recent upload, and comment below on what is the one experience that you've had similar to that of that Assam man. And as always, thank you for watching, and until the next episode, it is goodbye.